I'm Pip, Seaboard Digital Media. This is,
Rena from Little Works Indie Media.
and what are we talking about today, Rena?
We are talking about Instagram and Facebook strategies in 2024, what's working and what's not working. I just added that second piece in because we're already in May. Okay, let's get on to our topic though. 'Cause we only have
Right?
minutes and
And I
look,
know you love this.
yeah, this is my wheelhouse. Just a couple of things I wanted to talk about and some questions I'd like to pose because I want to know what other people are trying out there. But one of the things that came up for me recently in two different sources was the hashtags on Instagram. So there's a thought that's circulating on social media that adding hashtags to your Instagram posts might not be the best idea. So while it could get you some new followers, maybe some new people that are reading your posts, what they say is that it takes it takes half of your algorithm percentage away. So it splits off what would normally go to your follower list if you don't use hashtags. So some people are saying that it's possibly better to not use hashtags if you want more engagement on your Instagram posts. I suppose on the other side of it, though, if you're looking to get new users and grow your Instagram, then perhaps using the hashtags is a really good idea. So, has anyone tried that out there? If you have, I'd love to know if you've done any testing and how that's worked out for you. This is specific to Instagram, by the way, just to make sure that everyone's clear on that. So, I'd
That's
love to hear
interesting.
because I haven't tested it yet, but I'm planning on rolling that out in the next few weeks just to see what kind of results that gives us.
So, are you going to test on an account that has a large following versus an account that has a small following for that? What are you thinking?
I'll probably working on mid-size because that's really what my clients are, who my clients are. But first, I'll try it on my own account to see how that works, and then I'll see how that does. I suspect that's going to be a big difference as to whether or not how many followers you have will play into if that's an effective strategy or not.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
so every year, like Facebook and Instagram are a bit like the Google algorithm updates. There's updates, and we have to identify these strategies to work around them to get to our audience, right? Because
Yeah.
they're gatekeeping now with
Yeah.
ads. I know
Yeah.
you recommend ads all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, so that should have been the first point. I guess I didn't really organize my points in a particularly cohesive manner, but yes, absolutely. So we're going through strategies right now that are just specifically for organic tactics because ads are always the better answer for so many reasons, depending it does depend on what you're trying to do, but especially if you're a small business and you don't have a huge following, ads can be really useful in that mix.
Yeah, and so when you do ads, you do them on Facebook and then they go on Instagram, is that correct? Or could you just have an Instagram account?
You can do both. So you can run ads from an Instagram account. I recommend running your Instagram ads from your Meta business manager or
Okay.
that sort of
Oh, the
space.
thing everybody loves.
I
Yeah.
know everyone loves to hate, you mean? Uh,
Yeah.
oh, and you can do, I also recommend you can just do one ad and send it out to both. You can also split and have two ads under the same campaign, utilizing the same ad budget. And you can have multiple ads for each stream, which is ideal.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
and then test those on each stream. That's interesting that each stream a little
Yeah.
bit more work, but better results.
I find that's true. Yeah. Because if you're in charge of your placements rather than allowing Facebook to organize your placements for you, it really, and it also, it depends on what your goal is. You really need to be goal focused. There's not one answer that's going to be perfect for every single business out there.
Ah, yes, okay, those generic fill you into a box don't work.
No.
Every strategy has to be slightly different depending on the client, the audience, the
Yeah.
area, right?
Because if your goal is to get traffic to your website based on really specific targeting on your ads, then you're going to want Facebook to help you figure out where those people are, and if it is on cross platform, because Facebook buys ads space on Google Ads, it buys ad space in different places. That
Mm,
cloud, and it's called cross platform, I believe ends up
yeah.
being where you're looking for
There's
that.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of that inside Google Ads, those people that sell programmatic advertising. It's actually done inside Google Ads, and one of the components is that you could show up on Facebook depending on the targeting, right? Which is really interesting.
Yeah, so they both send traffic into places that you're not thinking about and you might not know. There are some other cases where I have turned that placements off because I specifically didn't want my ads going into in articles or on apps because it wasn't the right spot in my mind. Sometimes I find those places will be cheaper. So sometimes agencies utilize them to reduce your ad spend results, like to make it look better because the clicks are cheaper.
Mm.
So it really, again, it depends is is always the answer.
Yes. Oh, that is always the answer. That is always the great answer. Okay, so you're telling us not to so if we're not a big or if we might not grow as well as we like if we use hashtags now. Is that the new way?
That's not what I said. Sorry, it's the
Damn.
opposite. It's the opposite.
Okay.
If you're looking for more engagement, then try removing the hashtags.
Okay. But if you're looking for more reach,
If you're looking to grow your audience, then perhaps hashtags might work.
oh, that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So this is going to be some testing that we're going to roll out. I'm very excited about that because I always love testing the theories. But I couldn't help but notice it felt like a weird theory to be circulating, but I saw it a number of times, so I'm going to try it out.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah. Did you
yeah.
hear the weird one? So it makes sense. It does make sense because it sounds like you're just if you wanna just talk to your already existing audience,
Hmm.
don't try to spread yourself out.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. It's what was it, Apple? They just came out with how you're supposed to close your tabs, basically. That takes up more battery. So
Oh,
you're
yeah.
supposed to just leave everything running now, and that's the opposite of what they originally trained us. Yeah.
Sorry. You're saying that open, leaving all your tabs open is ideal for battery?
That's what they're saying. Yeah, to save battery life.
I feel like I'm winning all of a sudden.
That. Um I guess, I think paying attention more now to social strategies and a combination of strategies, like actually using search and social together, is making more and more sense as we develop into this
Yeah.
beast of an online space, right? Like you can't just be one place really anymore, or you have to be attentive to these different platforms, depending on your business and what you're doing. What is it? Focus on one, get good at it, move to the next, right? I think
Yep.
that's yeah. And
So
then
have a few more other things on our things, our
we
little
do.
list.
We do. So I think one of the big ones is the AI stuff we should talk about because I don't know what's going on in there for AI for social content and things like that.
Well, one of the things that is becoming more and more evident on Meta is to be using AI powered messenger experiences. Now, it takes a little bit of time and organization, and you don't want to choose the default settings on this because, oh my God, the default settings are hilarious. One of my team members put on a default for messaging on one of my ads, and I could not figure out for the life of me why I was getting all these weird messages from people on
Mhm.
the ad in the morning. And it turned out that
Hmm.
basically anyone who leaves a comment gets an automated message. How can we help you? Which you can see how annoying that is because they're like, what do you mean? How can you help me? I didn't ask for help. It doesn't make any sense. You have to make it make sense.
Yeah.
It's important to do that. And so that's one thing.
So this is where is this on Facebook or Instagram?
It's
Both.
Messenger. So
Okay,
it
so it's yeah.
so from what I see, it comes on Facebook. So it's only the engagement that happens on Facebook. I haven't seen any evidence of this particular system happening from Instagram, although I haven't looked like
Yeah.
this is one case study that we're doing. That kind of messaging, AI messaging could be useful. I have set up messenger sequences that are super fun because they help people self-identify out of a funnel, which can be useful. So you can set up sort of two spaces. So people who are good, ideal clients can go in one direction and get that
Yeah.
phone call. And then people who are still on the fence or still don't understand, they're high up in the funnel, they can go into a different end result and get onto your newsletter list or webinar or
Yeah.
whatever. So that can be quite useful. But the AI one, I'm not entirely sure how complex it could be because I'm not sure if the AI helps you do the setup for these automated messages or if the AI actually speaks for you, like some of the other.
Interesting.
Yeah, that piece I'm looking forward to exploring again.
We are
Um,
exploring messenger stuff in LinkedIn. I like talking to people in Messenger in Facebook, but is that through so they're talking to not the person, but the business in Messenger,
uh,
right?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, so it's really funny because you wanna position yourself as a business with a team
yeah,
generally out there, but you also want to realize that people wanna do business with people,
it's true.
right?
It is absolutely true. So you can actually set up the messenger on Facebook to be auto sent to a member on your team. So that's one thing that you can do. I'm not, still think that they get the page messenger, but it can allow people to go in and introduce themselves. So
Okay.
that be useful. But yeah,
It's
you're
nicer.
absolutely, the word's completely different than LinkedIn, which is really not that great for brands, much better for people. So that's true. I would agree.
That's interesting, eh? So I think we've seen a lot of people this year go over to Instagram. We've seen a lot of people that are now coming back into Facebook, into Instagram. People are maybe making some decisions leaving TikTok or making a alternative plan because of the news. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the different platforms do, especially with the AI and all
Yeah.
the things happening in that space, right? I think Phelan had Gemini embedded in his phone search
Oh, right.
results,
Yeah.
and I wonder, are you seeing anything with AI stuff inside, like, Facebook? Are they generating posts for people yet? What do you think they will? Ooh,
They will help you organize your creative and they have the whole messenger thing set up. Those are the only two aspects that I've seen. I haven't seen anything with posting in Content Planner, but I also haven't looked today, but I will go to look.
you gotta look
God, I didn't think of that.
every day, right? Isn't that interesting? Because every day new things are coming out. This industry
Oh,
is on fire, but, in a really positive way, which I think we're not all realizing, which is great, which is it's great there's AI, but we need people to wield it. Like, it
well,
is
one thing about AI that contradicts the next issue that we have on our checklist is authentic content. So, how do you actually implement and utilize AI in a way that is going to come across authentically? And
mm,
that is always the issue. So, you need to actually make sure that your brand voice is there,
that
that you
not everything says discover or unleash.
know, what's the one? Deep dive and delve are my that
Oh, delve. I like deep dive because I have the fish as our logo. Yes.
but if it's gonna be if you're gonna use, I guess the thing about authenticity from me, and people get this wrong all the time in my mind. I know we're not supposed to be judgy, but the fact is that people sometimes get mixed up about what being authentic is. It doesn't mean sharing every little aspect of yourself online because I would never get behind that. But sounding like your brand voice, your personality, like having a well-developed personality and brand voice is super important. And so and being accurate, and this is what really irks me when I read other people's marketing who are using AI, is they'll say things like, and this came up for me with a client because she actually moved to our agency away from another agency based on this one thing alone, or one of these. This is one of her top pet peeves, is that they kept saying it's a deep dive when it was really a half an hour podcast, right? Which is never a deep dive. You cannot if it's going to, if
Very
you're going to,
surface.
yeah, if you're going to say deep dive, it actually needs to be a freaking deep dive, right?
Yeah, you could say dive, just take
Yeah,
the
we're gonna dive into this topic for half an
yeah.
hour. Great. And that's real. That is real. That is believable. That is grounded in reality. And that's the thing that I find is the most frustrating thing with AI is it makes everything sound fan freaking tastic and blows it up way more than it actually. Something is what was the word that came out yesterday that I had to redo? It wasn't extraordinary. It was something, but it was something like fan freaking tastic. And I looked at the content. I'm like, is this though? Is this that? Is this
Then
really exciting? Is this really, do we really love this? Or is this actually just really useful and a great start to learn about a topic?
yeah. And that's the thing, I think things now will take more research to sift
Yeah.
through the plethora of content. Good content is still good content, which can't just be spit out, like, you actually have to have knowledge.
Also, personalized content. And this is where they're trying to, like Google in particular, is trying to get rid of the the content farming practices that have been done. So the idea that you can pull stuff off of the internet and restate the exact same things that have been said millions of times already is not helpful. So what they're looking for that's going to be helpful is to personalize it for your company, personalize it for your clients, or like the case studies, introducing case
Mhm.
studies. So you might have the top 5 things to do on Instagram as a post that everybody's done, but you might put like your examples might be actually client examples rather than just generic
Ooh.
statements of it
Yeah.
may be this and this these are the results we got when we did it with this client. So that you're actually creating personalized content, like custom content for yourself. And that's going to be super important when it comes to creating this authentic brand feel that is less about farming information, which is what they're trying to get away from. Super
S
important.
and that farming information thing, which is really interesting. In SEO, if there's 2 pieces of content that are identical, Google has to weight which one is better. So if you would say have 2 websites and you have the same content on both, you can actually tell Google to prefer one over the other. Yeah. So you can
Like
still
as a
have
metaphor or as a for your own content? As a how do you
for your own content, for your own content. I don't know how you would devalue someone else's if they've copied you. They just go down over time because they're the spam, but for somebody who's maybe separating their businesses or they have a piece of content on one business that will suit the other one somehow versus upping it and removing it. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in the digital space, I believe, for especially for socials. I know I talk about SEO and stuff a lot, but I'm so interested in the cross-platform integration, the AI stuff that's happening, the I'd like to up my game on Instagram. And
right?
so I'm gonna be following you, Rena.
Good. I'm very excited about that because we're going to be doing some really fun stuff on our Instagram page soon. Okay,
Do
so
you
I
yeah,
wanted to talk about is again high. The idea of this authentic content also includes high quality. And what we're moving around, and we've seen this on almost every platform, we're moving away from highly branded content. So you might not want to put your logo on every single thing that you put up. Or you might not
oh,
template exactly for
the
everything that
same
you,
every time.
yes, those, especially cards on videos. So the thing that we know gets the best engagement is, especially for video, is when it's a picture of a screen cap of
People.
stop, you know,
Yeah.
That one.
Uh,
So, those kinds of images, I hope nobody's screen capping that one. Um, but those images actually got way more clicks. So if you're targeting the right people, then that's gonna give you a more higher click, and it also seems more believable and less slick
Do
in
we
some.
put are we putting I know YouTube took off their story or their short thing cover. Do we still have Instagram covers and for
Yeah,
reels and things?
yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. I don't use them anymore. Sometimes I'll use them. Okay, so that's a lie. So we'll use them so that you can't actually see them. So what we do is we take the very first frame that's going to happen. We create a still and then we might put the hook across, like the
Oh,
hook, the video uh, on that particular screen. So it looks like we put a sentence on the video itself, but we actually haven't. That's how we do it.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So
So
there's
that
big strategy that goes on in there now.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. A lot of that strategy I'm picking up from TikTok, but it seems to work really well on Instagram also.
Yeah. That's the so where do people go from TikTok? They're gonna go to Instagram. Would you recommend them separating their Instagram and Facebook feeds?
Again, it depends. You're gonna ask me all the questions and I'm just gonna always say it depends. So it depends on what your goals are for Facebook. We do for most of our clients. I will post something on Facebook and put it out as a reel on sorry, post a reel on Instagram and put it out as a reel on Facebook. Ideally, if you have all the time in the world and you're creating a ton of content, then it's better to separate. But at the same time, I don't think it depends on where you are in your business. If you're just starting out, then don't do that. Like just do the
Okay.
same thing,
Just
put it out, make little changes on how you're presenting the information and feed the algorithm. And especially if you have no ad budget. And you want to make sure what we're trying to do with that with the organic strategies, which is what we're really focusing on here, is we want to get the best algorithmic push for our money. So let the numbers tell you when the next post should come out. Don't go on a sequence of one post every day. That might work better on Instagram. It's not going to work that great on Facebook. I know that much. They also talk about video versus photos. So video is definitely king, but photos are still working quite well on Instagram, so we shouldn't abandon them completely.
mhm.
Not everybody's flipping through reels on Instagram. Some older people like me is scrolling through the feed, right? So you want to make sure there's something there for them. And same with Facebook because you got to go to a different spot to look at reels on Facebook. And so, yes, it depends. And what we don't want to do, and what I never recommend, is creating a whole pile of content and just continually posting. It's just not the best idea. So, what happens on most of these algorithmic platforms is that you will continue to get reach every time you post something. And then you get some engagement, you get a little more, and then you get another piece of engagement, you get a little more, you get another. And that's why engagement is so important and why we're always looking for it. But as soon as you make another post, the algorithmic push on that previous post flattens.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So best to yeah, okay, that makes sense. So you wanna have your content do the best job it can
Yeah.
before you're posting new content.
Yeah. And if you look at your insights, you can actually see what is the best cycle for my content on Facebook. You can do that. And you can decide that it might be every 3 days on Facebook, or you might want to make sure that your best post, your more important post, comes after the post that has gets you that you know is going to get you the most engagement because you're also rewarded with your algorithm. So whatever if you did a really good job on one post, and that's why you see a lot of these weird polls and memes and things that go out right before a sales post. So you kick up that algorithm and then you make your sales
Mm.
post, and then that sales post will do better than say you do it the opposite way where you do the sales post first that week and then the meme or whatever fun post you've got going on second. So that's something to consider too. And we
That
will 3 more minutes. Can we just take make sure that we
The cross-platform integration, generate quality leads.
there's one really big topic that we haven't talked about that I think we could just at least cover enough to get going, and that's the integration. It seems that all platforms are integrating shopping even more seamlessly. They're trying to remove all the friction points so that you can actually just go straight from post to shop. And if you've got an e-commerce set up somewhere, or if you have products that you can sell online fairly easily, then you want to be utilizing that aspect and looking into that area of social media across the board, not just Facebook and Instagram, and to make sure that you're set up for success.
Yeah.
I buy things and I buy things how I buy let's
I am a discerning shopper, and okay, so in a rush, yeah, I might head over to Amazon. I know that YouTube has been integrating video with shopping. I know that TikTok does it. I haven't bought anything off TikTok. I don't know if you have. I've almost, but then and then I'm like, "Ugh, this is a
Well,
lot
the
of work."
funny thing was I actually don't know because I know I bought something from either TikTok or Instagram, and it was a very big something. Like that was a very
What
big.
is the something? You gotta share the something.
But yeah, no, I think I've mentioned it before.
Oh,
The
yes, you bought a program.
Yeah, so I bought the top funnel program, and then I bought the large program that they were sold me afterwards. Well, that's I don't know, that was a lot of money that I paid
And
off
you're
of.
not the only one.
I know, I'm not embarrassed about it. It was the perfect targeting for me. It was exactly what I was looking for at that time, and they did an excellent job of targeting me on the
And
funnel. And it
and it
probably
helped you.
Yeah, and it took me about 8 times of seeing that ad before I booked the sales call.
That'd be
So,
right. So 7, 8
that's
touches.
fine. Yeah, you can't when you look at the yes, exactly. Although I think I got the same ad over and over again that many times, which surprised me.
Mm.
And
So so that you know what strategy that is?
no.
That's repeat, repeat.
Okay. When you're addressing your ads, when you're looking at your ad results, you wanna be looking at I forgot what the metric is called. It's not repeats. Now I got that in my head. What is it
Ugh,
called? It's called I don't know, but it's a word. It's usually people turn it off even if it's at 1.5, but I usually wait till at least 3 to 5 times.
oh,
to
retargeting.
Ad off. It's not retargeting. It's the number of times that your ad is served to the same person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can I know in Google Ads, you set that up to be only 4 if you're gonna do that. 4
Oh,
max
and I don't think they have that option
in
in Facebook.
Facebook.
You just wanna
Oh.
get there. Yeah, you have to check in on that. Hoping that it's not one you're not changing the content out after
Uh,
1 times.
and we are out of time. Ah, it's good to be back. If you're joining us, pipe in and sing hi. I see Phelan shot us another message about chatbot and messages. Oh, wow, it's crazy out there. And Rena, before we
Yes.
go, do you know what we're talking about next week?
Yes,
Do
I
we know?
haven't look at this. I'm so on it today. It's so weird. So we are talking about the key elements every website homepage needs, and I believe that will be me and Greg.
Woo! That's awesome. I guess Phelan's getting a little break after the 7 weeks. I think I might buy him a cake for managing the slash video podcast that we do. If you're joining us for the first time on another channel, we post Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, I think now, Rena, our Geek Speak, which we do weekly, right? So just tune in wherever you are, and we'll see y'all next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, bye.